Good evening, folks. I'm Alexander Ned, live for the MBN Broadcasting Network. So glad you could join us right here at NASCAR Heat 4 for another exciting race here on the PS4. I am Alexander Ned for the first time in 3 weeks. So glad I can talk to you guys here for the first time in 2020. And I want to bring in both Will and T, who will be guest commentating here tonight. I will send you a roster here in just a few moments. I just want to point out some things. One, I am sick. I'm so sorry. I am overcoming bronchitis, so if I sound a little under the weather, it's because I am. But two, we are at Darlington. You know, I'm just going to say this. I have a boyfriend, y'all, but every year I make a date with the lady in black. I love this racetrack.
Yep, it is. It's a good one. It's a one that's hard to pass for sure. It's hard to pass clean. If anyone can do it, it'll be these guys. I know a majority of the field. I just want to make sure I got my numbers and names right. But these guys can definitely accomplish it. It's going to be a long race. If I can remember right, it's like the second longest race next to, as far as time goes, next to the 600, I believe.
You want to do the quick rundown of the qualifying order, or do you want me to do it, Alex, Ned, super commentator extraordinary?
Thank you, guys. And I have missed being a part of the broadcast, but I am thankful to be back. And in the thick of things, we have some major action happening as far as points. I want to give you guys the rundown as far as who is on top for the championship standings. Right now, it is Job's rookie ahead of Fluffy. They are then followed by Bear and Slade. Those guys are all currently locked in to the playoffs. I do want to say, though, this is not a win and you're in format there, Will. These guys, some of these guys that are further back in the points, they have to obtain a certain amount of points in order to be considered in playoff contention.
Yes, they do. And I would like to add that, all right, Titans is filling in for the 9 car tonight. Just a little side note. I noticed that car was a little higher up in the qualifying order as normal, so looking to see a good run coming out of the 9 camp tonight. But, it is very important, especially with you have to be consistent week in, week out. It's not winning, you're in. But he finally got the gorilla off his back last week, as he actually got his first win here at Midnight. He's finished up second probably 8-10 times this year. So congratulations for our points leader.
That's awesome to hear, and I'm so sad I missed that. I just actually went into a chat with those guys, and he was very excited to finally be called a winner for the MBN network. Let's get you the run of the points. 5th through 10th, we have C. Workman holding that 5th spot. Mike RPM in the 6th position. BC Racer Kid, your last defending champion, in 7th. DWH in 8th. Diesel in 9th. And then 10th is Max Boost, also known as Saab. Just outside of that playoff cutoff line is Sloppy Joe, the Daytona 500 winner. He is in 11th. JRM Keffer, who will not be racing tonight. In fact, it is Justin Mons that will not be racing tonight. Keffer is in 12th. Jay Hyper, rookie, in 13th. Voltage Bags in 14th. Justin Mons, who will not be racing tonight, is in 15th. He will have a sub. It will be Titans in that 9 car. Then 16th through 25th, we have Big D Destroyer, Marcus E-Dub, Celtics fan, Gallon, New World Order, Pat's Ace, DK Brown, Smoke, Titans, and JRM Doha. Let's go back to the racetrack, gentlemen, and I bring up Darlington because it is unique. It's considered one of the crown jewels in NASCAR, the others being the Brickyard 400, the Coca-Cola 600, and, of course, the Daytona 500. But Darlington, a win here at Darlington is so much more special than I think any one of those nights because of the history tied to this event.
Yeah, I think within this season, it's funny, we're talking about crown jewels. The last race and the first race of the season that I helped commentate was the Charlotte race a couple weeks ago, in which tiredness got the best of me after the second stage. The race ended up starting a little late, and as you know, that race is super long. 5 a.m. was coming early, and I ended up falling asleep. Thankfully, my mute was so I didn't embarrass myself too much. But I left my boy Will out here to finish the rest of the race. But winning this race, at this point in the season, it really could mean a lot to any of these guys. And this is a track. If Pats was racing, that would have been my pick right off the rip. But speaking of picks, do you guys have picks for tonight?
Go ahead there, Will. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the 22 car, he's actually he's our pole sitter for tonight, Diesel. He hadn't really showed muscle much this year. He's had a couple good races here of late. I raced with him a couple of different places. I'm going to go ahead and pick the 22 car to actually put it in the winner circle tonight. My sleeper pick is going to be the 21 of Slade. Ran really good last week. Had some altercation getting on pit road last green flag run. That I watched. I didn't watch the last race, but yeah. So he's my sleeper pick. Old Slade, grab it.
When we come to Darlington, I feel like it really is anybody's chance because the racetrack will change throughout the night, and I don't just mean that just to say that, but we will have long green flag racing, and these guys are going to have to compete with tire wear. It's something that we continue to go back to at every race this year because new for NASCAR Heat 4 is the implementation of tire wear and how that will play a factor. At Darlington, you do wear out that right side tire.
Yeah, you do. And going to that, these guys are obviously they're ready for it. They have long run cars. Most of them should anyway. For my pick tonight, though, seeing as any league race I've been in recently with that 19 car, he's hard to pick against. Voltage, he's fast. What seems like everywhere on this game. It really suits him, his personality, his driving style, etc. I'm going to go with him tonight, and as a sleeper pick for myself, I know talking with DWH a couple times this week, he was a little unique with how he was setting up his car, and we'll see if mid-race maybe he'll figure something out that really helps the car. But I think he also has a really good chance. I think all these guys have a really good chance.
Let's go through our quick race settings here before we get the green flag. Again, it'll be more than 105 custom difficulty because each one of these guys are on a custom race setup. Damage, I do understand, actually will be on.
Yep.
So these guys will not only, we talk about the famous Darlington stripe, it could mean a lot here tonight in taking care of your race car here. 1 second of damage can certainly alter the gameplay and your experience driving these cars around this racetrack here tonight. So these guys are going to have to make sure they don't find that outside wall, which we've seen numerous time and time again. Race length will be about 50%. Tire wear times 2 as always. Flags will be on. And as I mentioned before, these are custom race setups. What do you think is going to be the most difficult thing that these guys are going to have to face tonight at Darlington, Will and T?
Getting on pit road. Point blank. In my opinion, it's one of the hardest pit roads to get onto, if not the hardest.
I think it's going to be getting off a pit road. As you know, these guys are going to be trying to hustle the car, get it up to speed, and you are coming off in a awkward situation coming off a pit road. You have that lump coming around to the front stretch, and then you have another hump that you got to get over to get on the front stretch as they're trying to stretch their legs to get that thing back in fourth gear. I think we're going to see some carnage right there tonight, to be honest with you.
Pit road in general, so the two of us agree that pit road in one way or another, on and off, are going to be treacherous. It'll be fun watching these guys. We get some green flag pit stops. It will be interesting. I also, coming off turn 2 is very treacherous, especially on worn tires. You hit a certain spot in the track, it will turn your nose straight to that inside wall, at least try to. There's going to be a lot of throttle control coming off too, but these guys will handle it. The side-by-side action coming off too, I think, is going to be also pretty exciting.
Going to go live right now with our virtual race car using Eric Jones, who did win this event back in 2019. Let's get you out on the track and show you why Darlington is considered a crown jewel. Now, when this racetrack was first built, you'll notice the unique shape, the egg shape that this racetrack is known for. Why is it egg-shaped? Well, when the track was being built, there was an egg farmer, as you see me get loose off the corner. Ooh, my goodness, and damage. I already got my Darlington stripe. It didn't even take 30 seconds off the pit road. So I have definitely told you exactly that's exactly going to be a problem. But back to my story, when this racetrack was first built back in the 1950s, it was an egg farmer who didn't want his farm disturbed by the production of this racetrack. So the guys that were already building racetrack already had the plans. Instead of totally scrapping them and moving Darlington to another raceway, they decided to pitch in what's now the southern end of the speedway just a little bit more. And that is why we have such a unique egg shape here at Darlington.
That's a cool story. That one I didn't know. And you know what? You know what other shape? Gateway is also shaped similar, except Darlington's a lot faster and has a lot more banking.
I heard that it was the egg shape because it was in close proximity to a minnow farm, and they had a minnow pond at the end of it. The guy didn't
Yes.
give up this.
I thought it was egg, but it might have been minnow, so excuse me if I misspoke. Oh my
I
goodness.
like to get you over the farm.
Alright, so we are back on track with a brand new race car. We had to take out the backup car there after my earlier issue in practice. Eric Jones will have to start in the rear of the field because of that. But let's get you a lap under green flag conditions here at Darlington. You're going to keep it right next to the wall right here, uniquely colored red and white. Before, you're going to go off into the corner about 150 miles an hour. Darlington is unique in the fact that you only truly have 1.5 race groups. So turn 2 is going to be a trouble spot. A lot of drivers always talk about that bump that wants to upset the car and send it to the outside wall. Then you get into the tighter turn 3 and 4. The banking will help keep the car inside the racing surface, but right now you're going to be traveling slower than you are at the northern end of the speedway, which is about upwards of 150 miles an hour. In the southern end of the speedway, you're doing about 135 max. That is a lap around here at Darlington, and guys, we are just moments away from getting the green flag at 184 laps around its crown jewel.
And another fun fact about Darlington here is this is the second oldest track that NASCAR visits each year. This track is only 70 years old. I think Martinsville is actually 73, 74 years now. This track's actually 71 years old, but it's only been racing on for 7 years.
But you didn't. Martinsville is the oldest, correct?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
And Eric Amarillo has the fastest lap around here at 26.705 seconds at 184.145 miles per hour average speed around there. He did it with Richard Petty Motorsports car back in 2004.
Wow. You know, what's also great that started here at the Southern 500 has been the tradition that we call NASCAR Throwback Weekend. This racetrack does a great job of putting on a show for fans and has been now a must-see event live in person, because I cannot tell you how cool it is to see some of the retro paint schemes come to life on these modern cars that really pay tribute to NASCAR's past.
It is such a fun weekend. Last year, the 43 throwback for Adam Petty was awesome in my opinion. That was by far my favorite paint scheme. I was so looking forward to him go racing here.
All right, guys, we are just now about to get the green flag final.
Oh, wait, did you guys
thoughts.
get invites?
Yeah, we're going to the Bojangles 5 Southern 500.
No, the same.
I'm on the way. Got my ticket. We're on the way.
They punched this stuff.
Final thoughts before we get settled in here for a long night on NASCAR Heat 4.
Well, there's a few things. I mean, we mentioned, pit road.
2.1 mile oval. Odd-shaped oval.
It is very odd. I do like how these guys are already riding the apron on the warm-up lap, trying to save that little bit of fuel, knowing that it could matter. I'm not sure how long these stages are, but I'm sure we're going to have to pit at least once, if not twice, in both these stages, I would think. Typically, I would test and find that out for myself.
A lot of cool paint schemes tonight, too. You got these guys. I think everybody's sporting a throwback.
Yeah, and I'm digging that 21. I dig that for sure.
All right.
We're getting ready to go.
Diesel
Joe's
on
got
the
the
front
Days of Thunder.
row for Penske Racing, the 17 car. Fluffy on his outside. The green flag is in the air. The Southern 500 is green for PRCS.
Fluffy got a good jump out
He
to an
sure
early
did.
lead. 21 cars just a little sideways coming back up on April. Yes, sir.
Quickly,
That
most
is
of the
one
field is single file. See two wide action, but a lot of these guys wanted to get single file here early. They didn't want to go too wide because on a restart, that could spell trouble here at Darlington.
Yeah, and I will say transition from Heat 3 to Heat 4. One thing I will
Oh,
say
we
is
got a
this
car
track
in the
is
wall
improved.
already. Turn number 4, a single car incident. Don't know exactly who that was. Let's travel back and see. Excuse me, because this is a very big field. It was Jay Hyper in the 14 car. Significant damage to the back end of that Ford Mustang already. He's going to limp it up to speed in turn number 1, but already the rookie's facing trouble early in the Southern 500.
Yeah, you hate to see it, especially on the first lap there. Wasn't fully up to speed, so hopefully he doesn't have detrimental damage to his run. Maybe he can limp this thing to the first green flag pit stop.
You'd hope so, because if not, he's going to go 2 laps down. This pit road is long, slow, and this track is fast. So these guys, you're probably going to go close to 2 laps down, especially if you have to repair damage.
Riding on board with Jobs 25, who is sporting a unique paint scheme that you might see or have seen before from a little movie called Days of Thunder. It's Cole Trickle behind
Never
the wheel.
heard of it.
Oh, it's a good movie. Are you like Steve
I'm just
Letarte?
kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, I know. Steve
Never
Letarte
heard of
said
it.
that he had never watched it actually, and he got a lot of flack on Twitter for
But
not
didn't he
being
say
able to
that
watch
on
it.
the Dale Jr. podcast?
Yes.
okay,
And I
I did
believe
see
Junior
that.
actually made him watch it, so I'm gonna make you watch it.
Yeah, good
They
for
came
him.
out with the scheme after that. Show a little
As
bit
a
of respect.
Well, yeah, I also tried to replicate a paint scheme, except it was more towards when Kyle Petty ran the mellow yellow car. That was my favorite paint scheme growing up. You'll see me racing in public lobbies with that paint scheme.
Well, we got one going off pit road. I think that is the 14 Hyper. Top 5 right now. You can see that number 9 car in the 4th place. He's in there shooting in for J-Mons tonight. So look for a big run to come out of the rookie right there. Second race involved with these guys here in the Titans.
Titans having a
I tell
great
you-
job so far, running inside the top 5 early.
These top 3
trouble,
cars.
one car,
Another
Jones.
wreck.
Oh.
Big crash on the backstretch. One car
That definitely
DWH
should bring
involved,
out a
significant damage for Sloppy Joe, and the yellow flag is out. You see most of the field
I don't think it's
below
out.
the
No,
apron.
it's not out.
It is not out.
It is not.
Wow.
Wow.
That's going to mix things up early here.
You're gonna have a lot of guys jogging around to get that lucky dog at the end of the stage. If they don't have a bunch of damage, and they can, keep running around the track, and then, once they do pit, you're probably not gonna want to fix that damage. You'll wait till the end of the stage and stay on the lead lap. But these guys that were just involved, that have damage, they're gonna have to do one of 2 things. They're either come down pit road and fix it now, or they're gonna try to get around the track.
Sloppy
green flag
Joe,
pits.
the first
We
car
have
that was
DK
sideways there, and a lot of people took to the unused portion of the racetrack on the backstretch to try and avoid that. But you're right, significant damage for Daytona 500 champion, and I don't know exactly what set him wide, but he just turned dead to the right and found the outside wall, and the front end of that Chevy Camaro looking pretty crumpled.
Yeah, that's that turn 2
Well, we
curse,
do
man.
have the 32 car of DK Brown actually come down pit road, so he might have been
Oh,
involved.
and it does now look like the yellow flag is out. So the caution is out
What
here for the
happened?
first time today. Don't know exactly why, but that is a big break for, as you mentioned there, T, a lot of those guys that were caught up with that. And that's got to be on the mind of these guys. That's not just a Darlington issue or any track issue. That's a NASCAR Heat 4 issue where we have a significant incident on the racetrack that doesn't trigger the yellow flag. This actually might be an in-game manual caution. It is.
I believe it is, and I think that a lot of that has to do is just respect for each other, saying, hey, look, early jitters. Everyone made a couple mistakes. You know, let's move on from this. They're going to probably do traditional NASCAR rules as far as one person's going to get the wave round. You got a lucky dog. But we've seen 2 or 3 cars go down pit road during green flag, so there's probably a couple cars that went down to repair damage.
They're definitely going to let them. Yeah, they're going to let them get their laps back. I think they're doing this just to get everybody back situated.
Yeah.
I hope so, because they are football tackling each other right now on pit road on my screen. So,
well,
they didn't have damage, they do now.
And let's consider why they're able to do what's called a manual caution, because a lot of leagues will actually do this because NASCAR Heat 4 has such an issue with caution flags coming out. Now, typically, it's well known that these guys will communicate with one another in separate party chats. That's how you're able to communicate with one another and tell them, like, hey, the caution is out. So these guys will go at a predetermined speed, and they'll follow real NASCAR rules. You have the leader be able, once pits are open, be able to choose the lane that he wants to restart in after completing service. And these guys, as you mentioned before, will be able to either take the wave around if they were a lap down, and will have a free pass. It looks like some of those guys that were involved in that crash might have been on pit road, so I don't know if we're going to go green this time by.
Well, I know it was the 11, the 13, the 8, the 32 come down pit road and took care of his damage. The 24 car looks to have some damage.
It looks like the 88 one also.
6 guys. Well, I haven't seen him yet, so.
And it does look like they will go one more lap here under yellow in order to get everyone caught back up. But you're right, a lot of those guys, a lot of top contenders, including the 14, the 13, the 24, NASCAR Heat 4 does not fix the damage that you get as far as visually. You'll get the damage fixed on your screen, but on other competitors, they'll still show the damage that you received throughout the race. And you can see the back half of the field looking mighty crumpled. The 14, the 24, the 13, the 8. A lot of these guys, the 11, all with some significant damage already seen early in stage 1.
Yeah, we're sitting here, we're looking at 49 laps here in the first stage. When we go back green, they're going to be on lap 13 of 49, so a long way to go in the first stage. And yeah, it is unfortunate for some of them guys back there looking like a crushed beer can, but
they're racking them up, getting ready to take the green.
We're going to do it all over again.
Green flag is back out. 17 of Fluffy getting a great start.
Again.
Yeah, he's got some hella restart gears up there, that thing.
He sure does. And Slade, I like... Oh, Slade, I think, might have made a little contact with Diesel and kind of put him in the wall. He checks up to let him have his place back. It's Fluffy gets in the wall.
Diesel also getting to the wall. 3 wide. That typically doesn't work heading into turn 3, but they make it. And the 19 of Voltage will take advantage of that. Move him to second place as the 22 of Diesel falling behind. And I'm with you there, T. It looked like the 21 and the 22 perhaps made contact. And that allowed the 17 car to get away and the 19 to take advantage as well. 43 riding the wall in turn 2.
It is so hard to keep it off the wall in turns 1 and 2. You want to stay up high because the lower you exit that corner, you're not, well, first of all, you're not getting the exit speed, but it's so easy from the middle to the bottom of the track to get loose here.
Front
BC Racer Kid way in the back now, 32 car. I think he was the one that we've seen the last lap go to the inside that Will had mentioned. Not sure what happened exactly.
Oh, we got another one off right here.
Yes, spinning in turn number 2. Don't know who that was.
That's Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe in the 8 car.
That is the second incident of the night for him. Battle for second heating up. The 19 under pressure from the 22, who has a mirror full of the 95 and the 21.
It's so hard. This track is mentally hard to just wrap your head around because it is frustrating, especially when you try to make a pass on somebody. You're fighting a loose race car. I was thinking that we would see these guys, you know, not walk up in here with loose race cars because it's only going to get worse throughout the run. Whatever Fluffy's got under that, he just done checked out. He's got almost a half straightaway lead on these guys, but he's got what is that?
Fluffy,
6 cars.
Fluffy always brings the heat to the track, time in and time out. His group, you can tell his group of guys that he races with on a daily basis, they're all really, really fast. He does a lot in the community as he does for his crew. Puts hot rods in those guys. I just hope tonight ain't one of the one nights that we've seen get away from him from having so much speed. That's the thing that we've had to learn on Heat 4, that you can actually outrun your own race. So,
you see him get loose off too.
Yeah, he did. He traveled as we were just about to ride on board right there. So Superman not falling victim, or not above falling victim to the Lady in Black.
Exiting low off too, it is treacherous, but being up high is also treacherous because you got to try to keep it off the wall. There is no good way to get around this place consistently. It's just you try to get a couple consistent laps and hope that you don't mess up.
And you even see a little bit of damage as he got loose off the corner again. The left front. Oh, I think Voltage actually hit the wall right behind him as well.
Yeah, everyone's fighting loose off two here. They're going to have to make some adjustments at some point, whether it's green flag pit stops, which I hope we see, because I've never commentated a race at Darlington seeing green flag pit stops, and that, to me, would be awesome.
Well, the first caution, I do believe, took that strategy out for stage 1, so these guys should be able to make it. We'll get you guys a lap count here quickly as soon as I tune in to JRM Keffer's stream.
Yeah, we are going to lap 21 of 49 right now.
So just shy of halfway in stage 1. This is a long race.
It is grueling.
Single file the front. 6 or 7 cars right there. Fluffy in front of this lead pack. The 95 a Bear, then Voltage 22, your pulse hitter, a Diesel running along in the 4th position, and then 21 a Slade rounding out your top 5. Just outside of that is C. Workman. We haven't talked much about him, but he's having a ho-hum day, riding along in the 6th position.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the times too, but we may have got a pit road a little too early. We may see some guys later on deep into the stage having to stop and get a splash of fuel.
And if that's the case there, do you then the focus, not only is it trying to get the best position you can on the stage, but then the focus goes on to your tires, because you don't want to use that excess time on pit road in order to put on 2 tires. Maybe you just need a splash of fuel. These guys might be short by 3 or 4 laps. And extending the tire window here is not easy.
No, a lot of the time, I mean, these guys got set up to the point where they ran a full fuel run on tires. But once you get into the race, especially these guys that are in a pack. Fluffy, he's probably conserving tires a little bit. These other guys behind him, they're jockeying for position. They're racing their cars a little bit harder. I honestly believe, I don't know what our fuel window is. Usually I'd come into a race knowing that, but I'm not entirely sure.
And again, we'll get that information once we see JRM Keffer pit.
Yeah, I'm watching it as well.
Battle for 3rd heating up. It looks like Diesel was able to get around an ailing 19 Voltage. He slipped back a little bit. He was 2nd. Now he's falling back to 4th into the clutches of 21 a Slade, and C. Workman also tagging along in that train. Then you have a 2nd pack of cars. In the middle right there is the 9 of Titans. And let's see who we can go back to the 2nd pack of cars right here. That is being led by the 88 of JRM Keffer.
22 got bad loose coming off the turn there. He saved it. Able to get back on the track. Fell back to 5th from 3rd to 5th, so it didn't hurt him too bad.
Entered Motorsports having a good day. 2 of their cars inside of the top 10. Where's that other car? Your points leader, Jobs. Let's go right along with him. And you will find that he is actually...
He's got a lot of damage.
He is struggling right there. He's outside of the top 10. And not the championship caliber team we've seen as of late right now.
I was going to mention that, Fluffy did check out at first, and then them guys were hanging in with that 2nd group of cars right behind him, was hanging out. But he is, over the last couple of laps, has just pulled a humongous lead on that.
He gone.
He gone.
He's got almost a whole straightaway lead now. Broke away from the 95 car. 19 still holding strong in third place. As you spoke about, he does have a little bit of damage. He can't wait to get that number 19 Toyota down pit road to fix that stuff. Maybe it ain't too bad for him. Maybe your pick ain't all gone, so as of yet.
Now that 95, I tell you what, he started mid-pack towards the back. Whoa, we got a bunch of guys all turn two, all over the place.
Yeah, we were riding along with the 19 who hit the wall, and the stack-up effect where I can't quite put my finger on it, but it does seem how if you follow in the draft of or the wake of another competitor, they make a mistake. It seems like you also make that mistake.
Yeah, it's been like that for several years on this game. It's not even just a game. I mean, it's natural. It's what happens. You're trying to get the draft, follow that person in front of you's line. If, on exit, they overdrive it a little bit, chances are you overdrove it a little bit. And you see that a lot of times. And on such a narrow track, you try to keep it in the wall to let these guys go behind you. But like we were talking about, you're doing the same thing. So basically, you got to train cars in the wall at one point.
Yeah, I would actually think the scale of this, I would like to see a few of these tracks actually be blew out to actual size. I would hate to think that the racing surface was narrowed down to just one lane on the actual speedway when we know better than that. But yeah, that's one thing I would like to see from 704 games. Maybe stretch the track out a little bit, scale them out exactly, the scale.
Well, I will say, because as we all know, in turns 1 and 2, well, mainly 1 and 2 on the previous games, you would barely. We got two
Titans. And the 3 of Workman right there, out of shape, out of turn 2. They gather it up, but handling starting to become an issue. This is the deepest we've gone as far as the green flag run. And handling characteristics. Trouble! DWH around in turn 4. The 1 car collecting a number of other competitors. It looks like he did 1 full revolution and he's able to get going again.
I don't see
who did that affect?
We got 21 in the outside wall, hard getting loose off the turn.
Action picking up all over the racetrack.
Yeah, these guys, I don't think they're going to be able to last this whole rest of the stage without getting tires.
I agree with you.
If we are, we're going to see a bunch of bent up race cars the whole race, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're finally on a long run, and we're starting to see these guys taper off as far as, just getting loose everywhere.
Oh, the 19 hard into the wall again, man. As Fluffy's actually dropped back almost in the grasp of the 95 car.
He's definitely within eyesight.
Hard into the outside wall, and he gets loose coming off the turn again, goes into the inside wall.
43 Mike RPM has an issue. He might be going down the pit road. He's very slow on the apron of the racetrack. I don't know if he made a pit stop right there, but Mike RPM, also the 14 of Jay Hyper, he gets out of the way of BK Brown in the 32.
Sloppy's also riding around the apron very slow.
I'd like to correct myself. That was not Fluffy. That was number 11 of Celtics fan as he pulled to the inside and let the leaders go by. So Fluffy's still going strong. They just have the same.
DWH around again. He tried to stick his nose underneath the 13 of Galen and just got.
And he will now fall a lap down. And this is important because now we have a number of competitors. I believe Mike RPM is the lap down, Sloppy Joe and Celtics fan. The battle to be the first car 1 lap down is starting to heat up.
Well, them guys that did pit on that last pit stop, we're looking anywhere between 10 and probably 13, 14 laps left of fuel. Be my guess from what I'm seeing here. We'll see what happens, but I'm just not sure if these guys want, even though they might not be like low. Like as far as percentage wear on the tires, the car is. I mean, these cars are obviously all upset everywhere around this track. So just because you might not have to pit for tires, you might want to because the car is so upset.
The 19 of Voltage, who was on the lead lap, he is the first of our lead group of cars to go down pit road. So this might drag some people in. And again, we are not that far off from the completion of stage 1 here at Darlington. And
this amplifies the issue that I spoke about earlier about coming off of pit road, how hectic it is with 4 fresh tires. You're going to see some guys that just try to take a splash coming off pit road with 4 used tires. Might not work out for him.
All right, so Voltage, he did not take a splash. I counted. It was about 16-second pit stop. And he took 4 tires and fuel. That's an interesting call. But maybe that car really needed it, or was he setting himself up for making perhaps a 2-tire stop at the end of stage 1 for that caution break? We'll find out here, but Voltage taking a 4-tire stop. He is now a lap down because of that move. Back up front, Fluffy continuing to lead.
One last time. We're coming to 10 to go here in the first stage. I think, I do believe everyone's going to have to pit, depending. Here's the thing, when they did that manual, it's hard to tell what was going on. We didn't get to see who pit, who didn't. But I honestly believe that I think everybody has to pit at least once. It's going to be very close. Oh, Fluffy's in the wall.
And, you know, the 13 just disappeared from my screen, so I believe that might be a DNF on the 13, or that was weird. He might have just glitched right there. Actually, he's still on the racetrack just in front. But that was an issue that could have perhaps made the 17 car hit the wall right there. Fluffy continuing to lead. No.
The 13 car, he was on the 8th, and he just came back up the racetrack.
He did, and he is going back and forth, so that does tell me that there might be some Wi-Fi connectivity issues on that 13 car.
And now you guys got to think of something else, too. Are we going to have anyone that tries to stretch it? Anyone that's going to try to take that chance and stay out on one of the old tires and see if they can finish the stage 1 out?
I tell you, the first person that would come to mind when it comes to fuel strategy, and I always mention it every time I'm in the midnight booth, Keffer.
Yes.
He may be the one. There is.
He does like to stretch it. I know we were, well, back to Martinsville. He used that strategy to his advantage. He's one of those guys that has a will, and I do believe a clutching system so that he can save fuel that way. That is an advantage here when it comes time to fuel saving.
And the 95 car of the Barry actually does too. So.
And Fluffy offline. It looks like he's going to go down pit road this time by. So the leader is in.
Going to what Will said, knowing that all he needs is a couple laps of fuel, I don't think he wants to risk taking 4 and going a lap down, even though he had such a big lead. But he could take 2. But I just don't see what the point of that would be, considering that we're coming to the end of the stage. He can come down, take 4 at the end of the stage, get your splash, try to get off as clean as possible, maintain your lead, get to the end of the stage. Maybe throw a little bit of wedge in it, tighten it up a little bit, because obviously these guys are fighting loose on old tires. So I think that's what he's going to do.
Actually, he's in there for a pretty substantial amount of time. That would tell me it's going to be a 4-tire stop. He did not speed. But these guys, you know, maybe tire wear is more of an issue than what we thought there, T. Because like you, I would think maybe just get in, get out with 2 tires and hope that the car reacts right. But we're not seeing that.
I'm telling you, Keffer, I believe, is probably saving. I'm not sure what our leaderboard is looking like, but he is one of a few guys that have not pit yet. And I think Fluffy took 2 would be my guess.
No, he definitely took 4. He was on pit road that long for 4. I counted, yeah. Right. I believe that would change the lead now to the 95 of Bear. You've not seen him go down pit road yet, and he is in front of the 3C Workmen. I believe those guys are your leaders. They have put another lap on both DWH and Mike, or perhaps because Fluffy was so far ahead, it might still just be 1 lap down. But Mike is having a dreadful time in that 43 car, and so is one of DWH.
I tell you what, when me and Will commentated that Charlotte race, at the beginning of the race, Bear was not very strong. Actually, him and Slade ended up having two really good long-run cars, and we're obviously seeing that now. That Bear does definitely have a really good long-run car.
He's in front, but he has a mirror full of the 3 cars. See Workman, who's not letting him get away. He actually hit the wall right there. A little bit of a Darlington strike. Able to make it through. Not too far behind him is the 21 of Slade and the 22 of Diesel.
1 to go, I believe.
Yeah, I think before
C. Workman around the 95 car. And C. Workman would be your leader then. And Bear is offline.
Bear's
that might tell me he
gas.
might be out of fuel, trying to stretch it. Let's go back up front. The 3 of C. Workman. Bear's going to be able to make it around, I believe. But if this is the end of the stage, 3 of C. Workman. And how did that translate to those that decided to pit early a lap down in stage 1?
Bear is out of gas, and he's going to come down pit road, which is going to assess him a penalty.
Yes.
C. Workman, stage 1 winner.
He's just trying to get there. Good for him. Yeah, Bear's going to lose a ton of spots. He ran out of fuel. He did a hell of a job trying to save. Keffer's out of fuel as well, coming off turn 4.
And these guys that decided to pit, they had 4 tires in Sunoco Field, but that is a bad move for the guys that were already had trouble. I'm talking about the 1, the 43, because they are further down on the running board as far as them getting a chance to get up front so they could take the wave around. We expect everybody who is on the lead lap to pit right here and hope for a quickie yellow. But some of those guys, some of those notable guys that were a lap down because of that include Fluffy in the 17 car and the 19 of Voltage. Both those guys decided to go a lap down.
This year at Martinsville when Fluffy ran out of fuel late going in the race, actually Workman inherited the win then. So there he goes getting stage 1 victory. The same ordeal.
Yeah, and Fluffy being as dominant as he was, sitting there in 15th, having to pit again, I am starting to question.
But they can't take a wave around.
And he didn't. He pitted. Okay. Which is, he must, if he would have taken 4 tires, I would imagine that he would have not pitted to get back on the lead lap. But
interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out later on in this race. The green flag is back out. The outside pole setter. Oh, in the wall. 13 car. He keeps it up there. Halen. And C. Workman continuing to lead this freight train. In front of the pole setter, the 22 and the 21 of Slade. Titans in that 9 car making his name known. And Max Boost inside the top 5 for the first time today.
We got 47 more long laps in stage 2 here. We'll see if these guys learned anything from stage 1. I know a lot of these guys are hoping, the caution, but I honestly believe, seeing how that we had 1 caution first stage, I don't really see there being a whole lot in this stage. Everyone's single file. We'll see if these guys adjust their cars where they're not getting so loose off these corners. So.
Can we see real quick where JRM Keffer is running and how perhaps his running board? Oh, see Workman off.
Wow.
Course gathers it back up. The leader having an issue out of turn 2. Side by side now with Slade, who makes it to the outside wall without further incident. Diesel, the pole setter, will take the lead, and he'll actually lead a lap for the first time today as we have trouble in the back of the pack. You see the 43 around.
Which is my pick, the 22 car.
Oh, trouble turn 2!
Hard Titans.
Big crash in turn 2. Titans. 17 of Fluffy. Jobs also with an issue.
Well, a lot of guys wanting to see this here.
DK Brown with significant damage.
The damage.
And there's that quickie yellow. We were hoping for some of those guys that perhaps decided to hope for a yellow. Don't know what sent the 9 car. I think he just got on the apron. A rookie mistake that could cost you dearly.
Yep, Sloppy Joe's going to get the lucky dog. we'll see if any of these other guys stay out to get their lap back.
And that only works, these guys that are in the back can only work if everybody in front of them decides to go down pit road. I do believe we see all the leaders pit here.
Yeah, it'd be smart.
It looks like the Fluffy actually was your lucky dog. He is in the back of the pack along with Voltage. So some of the fastest cars of the night have a lot of work
sidewall again, slows everybody up
to get caught back up.
Sorry, I just didn't have.
32 slowing the 3 car, bouncing off each other.
Wow. And you see how restarts really create a scramble, as you see 88 and Jaron Keffer have an issue out of turn 2.
Yes, he did.
Oh, 19 actually. Oh, he just put Keffer into the wall right there.
I think the 19 got a little help from the 8.
Yeah, he got shoved up from the back and got into him.
Which you will see a lot of that at Darlington, especially on restarts, is, you know, guys have different road complaints.
Well, yeah, he checked up, and the 8 car maybe didn't see him check up earlier. You know, just because out there, if you don't check up as soon as the guy in front of you, there's something definitely going to come up with that every time.
Yep.
Up front, continuing to see Diesel in the 22 car. Having a great day. Don't often get to talk about him much, but he started on the pole, and now he's putting together some consecutive laps leading out front, guys.
One of a few cars that doesn't appear to have a ton of damage. Obviously, the damage model on this game is a little deceiving at times, especially when you're trying to broadcast the race, but I was watching Keffer streaming that last caution come out. He didn't even get into anybody, but once the caution came out, whoa, who was that? Is that the 4 car that went way down there? But
BC Racer Kid, yes.
He, as the caution came out and the computer takes over, he runs into the back of somebody, even though the caution's out, and it completely smashes in his front end. And even though it doesn't show his damage, it does kind of make the car look ugly. So that's another thing that hopefully we'll see over the next couple games being fixed. But we're about to see a pass, or at least a battle for lead here. We got a bunch of them behind Diesel. We got C. Workman, Slade, having heck of runs off these corners on him. We'll see if Slade, he might try to take second before pushing C. Workman first. So
we are
what happens.
On board with the 21 right now as he currently rides, kind of in that middle groove, allowing those guys up front enough room to perhaps take advantage if something happens, but also to keep himself out of trouble. He'll try and take a look to the inside. See Workman went up the racetrack right there. Doesn't have to bite. Oh, but he made contact as Workman tail whipped him out of 4, and now the 95 gets around.
Like I mentioned before the race, the last thing I want to be is side-by-side with somebody off of a corner here, because
oh, see, Workman around Workman with another ride.
I'm telling you, you do not want to be on the outside of the corner, or on the outside of somebody coming off of turn 2, because everyone's fighting loose. The last thing you want to do is ruin somebody else's race. At least if you're on the inside and you get loose, you're not wrecking anybody else. But once we get late race, side by side off turn 2 for a lead, if we have a late race caution, will be interesting, to say the least.
The person that brought out that last caution, though, was the 9 of Titans, and look where he runs. He's already rebounded actually nicely back inside the top 5, so a rookie mistake, but has not really affected him as far as his running order. And he's hanging tough along with his Hendrick Motorsport teammate there, the 48 car. Both those guys having solid runs here mid-race.
Now, if we want to talk about, okay, Will, this is a good question for you. You know, you have excelled in setups and stuff, so you bring whatever setup you have to the track, and all you have access to is wedge tape and tires when you get into the race. Now, as we both know, you go into the race, the car might handle a little bit differently than it did before the race when you practice. If you're fighting loose, as a lot of these guys have shown, pretty much all of them have shown at some point during their run, what adjustments are you going to make to try to stabilize the car off turn 2?
Definitely, I would definitely say you really don't want to take the turn out of it, so you don't want to lose much of the wedge. You're going to be more of an air pressure adjustment is what I would recommend coming off the turn.
You know, going up a couple pounds in the, you know, left rear.
Well, it all depends on how your right front's
Slade's taking a ride down there now.
He did, and now we have a battle up front. The 95 car taking a look underneath. It looked like the 22 car didn't get out of turn 2 the way he wanted. Opened the door for the 95 of Bear, who completes the pass, and a new leader. Bear out front.
And that 48's about to try to take advantage of Diesel as well.
Yeah, Max Boost has ran really strong after he swept the Watkins Glen races.
He's so good at these unique tracks.
Yes, he is.
Let's see if we can check back in with one of the fastest cars of the day. Where is the 17 car of Fluffy running? He is just now outside of the top 10, I believe. He's fighting the 88 car for position. He'll click to the inside. He'll try to take it, but Fluffy has not been able to rebound. In fact, he actually falls back.
Fluffy is still a lap down. Kepler is in 11th on the lead lap, and I'm watching his stream. He's not even on the leaderboard right now. Jay Hyper is in 12th. Jobs is in 13th. DWH is back on the lead lap, and 10th. Voltage is 9th.
Okay.
I believe Fluffy's still a lap down.
So, wow, that would mean that also perhaps the 19 might be in front of him. But, wow, talk about a bad set. Wow, the one car just abruptly stopped right in front of the 17 car. That looked to be big. Could have been big. But why the 17 car is a lap down? He decided to pit early in that stage 1. I'm not so sure why other people could make it on fuel and why he couldn't.
Well, a lot of that probably has to do with gears, and obviously he was running hard. He had a strategy that caution in the first stage definitely probably screwed up everybody's strategy for the first stage. We were going to see at least one green flag pit stop from everybody before that caution came out, but that changed everything. I believe taking 4 tires, it baffled me as much as it baffled the other, you other guys in here. And I believe he either should have taken, unless his fuel light or his tire light popped on, and it had something to do with his left side tires, because as you know, this game doesn't allow you just to take lefts, which I don't understand. You're only allowed to take rights. So, rights are 4. So he apparently either had left side tire issues, or he had something else, in mind that was going to happen, and it just didn't. But we still got a big battle for the lead here. You got 5 cars sitting here.
And you bring up a good point before we go back to that point, that lead. See, Hyper out of shape on the front stretch. But something I did not know is, could a custom race setup affect your fuel window? Because I was always under the impression that these guys, no matter what, it's a set window.
No, you can have the car geared to actually run a higher RPM, which burns a lot more fuel. You can start off, it's going to say the same. Say you get 20 laps of fuel. It's going to say 20 laps of fuel on everybody's car after the pit stop, but your car may be burned an extra 10 a lap of that fuel, so you can only get like 18.5 laps out of it. So,
and going back to that was a perfect explanation right there. Gears pretty much have everything to do with it. I don't know about this game exactly, but I know that, well, I don't have a custom setup here for this game, but 3-gear setups are what a lot of guys run at certain tracks. They have that 4th gear there strictly to run lower RPMs and maintain at least a reasonable race speed and be able to save fuel. Kepler is so good, as we had mentioned before. And obviously, Bear, he was just about 3/4 of a lap short, and as was Keffer on that. So them guys probably running similar gears, I'd imagine, because these guys are running as hard as they can until they know they have to conserve. As we see the Bear coming down pit road.
The leader. So green flag pit stop's about to be underway. The 48 car inheriting the lead. In front of the 22, a Diesel. See Workman running along in third. In the 9 of Titans. Also down pit road, we see the 19 of Voltage. 21 of Slade, as you had mentioned. And the 88 looks like of JRM Keffer. All these guys making green flag pit stops. Well, that might be another car.
Thing. It tells me one thing immediately.
Excuse me, that's Fluffy making pit stop.
These guys are content enough with their vehicles where halfway through the stage, they might as well just split the stage. If you're that happy with the car halfway through the stage, you might as well pit and go. A lot of these guys, as we've seen, that tried to stretch the last one, they learned something there. Stretching it didn't work out for them.
And now,
was right though. What I just did see was, as soon as these guys actually made it to their pit stall, they was already being lapped. So
yeah, this is a long pit road, and that explains why we see so many people go a lap down if a caution comes out. So this is dicey time for everybody on the racetrack if you're considering, because one, you need to get down pit road. You're going to lose time to those guys with fresher tires if you do indeed decide to split. But if a caution does break out, then you're competing with those that have already pitted and could potentially trap you a lap down. That's what we've seen early in stage 1.
Yeah, if you take 2 tires, you're doomed. This pit road reminds me a lot of Martinsville and ISM, both. And this track's bigger and faster than both of them. You know, we're getting to speeds of 180 or plus, you know, at certain parts of this track, whereas the other ones, you're not touching them. But don't get me to ISM. I don't want to talk about it, Alex.
Some history there.
This is a story for another time. I will always bring that up. But yeah, pit road. Well, obviously these guys that are splitting the stage, they're taking full. No doubt about it. If you didn't, you'd be in trouble at the end of the stage. Not to mention, what your strategy might be here in the first 2 stages isn't going to be the same in the 3rd stage, because it's going to be twice as long. So
exactly.
And the guys that, you know, kind of screwed up on their strategy in the 1st stage might have learned something from that, learned something from this. We'll see what happens in the 3rd stage, but we've had 1 caution the entire night.
Or 2, technically. We had a manual caution in stage 1, and then an early caution in stage 2. But the yellow flag has not been seen. Currently, your leader is Max Boost in the 48. Jimmy Johnson, no stranger to victory lane in the Southern 500.
Oh.
But a stranger to victory lane since 2018.
Yes. Jimmy Johnson actually won Hendrick Motorsports. Their 200th win came here in, I believe, 2010.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday.
It is crazy. The farewell season, Jimmy Johnson just released his final paint scheme with Ally Racing.
Which was the same paint scheme from last
a little bit minor changes, but it is crazy to think that 48 car was so much history on the racetrack.
Come on, send it back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a Hendrick Motorsports fan by any means, and growing up, you know, I despised, you know, guys like Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon, especially Jeff Gordon, because I knew when I was watching, you know, racing in the 90s and early 2000s who was going to win every week. And then it ended up transitioning to Jimmy Johnson, which is why I despised him. But, you know, when it came to Gordon's last season, there was a sense of me, even though I didn't like him, I had that sense of respect for them guys. So I hope Johnson does get at least one win. I hope he doesn't win a championship, but I hope he at least gets a win somewhere this year.
Bear's starting to get loose coming off the turns.
I just seen that in that 22. He's on his bumper,
He's
but
coming.
48 still hasn't pit, and I think
So
that's a mistake.
that brings me up to these guys as far as their setup. Now, those guys that decided to split the stage, maybe they knew they couldn't make it on 2 tires, but maybe the 48 and the 3, maybe perhaps their setup allows for 2 tires later in the stage. Do you think we see that from the 48 and 3 who have yet to pit?
Yeah, they're already losing so much time on these other guys that took 4 that it's not going to matter. They'll be lucky to stay on the lead lap if they go in and take 2. You know what I mean?
Well, I believe they won't lose that much time because these guys were the lead pack, but you're right as far as them trying to get back in touch with those that have already pitted, the 95 of Bear, the 21 of Slade, and others. It might be too little too late for them to try and overcome, but
Very hard in the outside wall.
Diesel's coming.
That 22 car looks to be hooked up tonight. I might have made a good pick.
It's not, you can't pick against Diesel. Diesel always grinding, always is strong.
You can
unless
pick
you
your
race with
nose,
him
you
at
can pick
Gateway.
your wedgie, but you can't pick against Diesel.
Oh, he just, we sit there and talk about him. He gets loose off a turn 2. Damn it, Will.
it'd be easier to tell you who has not gotten loose out of turn 2, and that list is very short because that's everybody. There's no one.
Exactly. It has happened to everybody at least once. If they didn't get loose, they got the outside wall.
So yeah, there was a, I believe, I was watching one of these races later or earlier this week, and there was a Darlington stripe counter. How many people? I'd love to be the guy that had that job. Talk about job security. There is only one job I know of in NASCAR, and that is painting the walls at Darlington. You will always have a job.
I tell you who's having
That's
a really
track.
tough race is Jobs.
He is. Our
he's-
championship leader. Jobs has not been there at all. And the leader is in. The 48 car deciding to go down pit road. We were just talking about his teammate, but let's take a look and draw your attention back to the 48.
The 22 finally caught the back of the 95 as he gets in the outside wall, slows him down a little bit. But that's going to be our battle for the lead, correct?
You wanna
It
know who
depends
else?
on where the 48 car. You see the leaders
3
go by
car-
right now.
the
They are
3 car
now.
is our
They've
leader
unlapped
right
them.
now. The 3 car has not pit, and the 3 car is our leader. But I tell you who has not
Oh, a
pit
splash! It was just a splash and go for the 48 car. No tires.
Uh-oh. He
Now
might be
the-
on something.
The 3 car has not hit pit road, and I will tell you right now that with coming to 5 to go, we have a couple
48
cars who
just
haven't
come
pit.
off pit.
The 88 hasn't pit yet.
So a couple of people. Let's see if we can get back to our leader, JRM Keffer. Ooh, skims the wall in turn 3.
DWH is saving
The
fuel, I
3's
believe,
breaking
too.
it down. He's coming to pit road right now, guys.
He is. He might be for a
Yeah.
splash and go as well. We'll assume that, but that translates to
The
lead.
48 car come back out. Oh, he's a lap down.
Yeah, he's a lap
3
down.
car is coming down.
My bad.
I don't know who does this give the lead to there.
Well,
I got excited.
well, I'm about to tell you here in just
I'm
a
gonna tell you,
second.
Barry.
I believe it's
Barry,
Keffer.
the 22
Keffer is
just
our
come
lead.
in.
Keffer is our leader right now. Like I mentioned, he hadn't pit yet. I don't know if he has enough fuel to get to the end. We'll see. We know he's a master saver, but we'll see what happens. Actually, no. DWH. DWH is our leader right now.
Wow. After all the drama
With
that man has
3
gone
to go.
through in stage 1, to come out here with stage 2 win might be unheard of. Let's see if we can. We have so many cars on the racetrack. I'm sorry to play. I call it. Well, it looks like NASCAR roulette, but let's see if we can find him. DWH. There he
He's got
is.
big horns.
Your leader, and how many laps to go in the stage?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. I believe the stage, we got 3 to go, coming to 2.
And that is important because that will close pit road. So they've made their bed. Now you got to lay in it. Hopefully he's saved enough to be able to close it out for the stage 2 win. JRM Keffer has not pitted. A number of these guys have not pitted in. This will once again shuffle the running order once we begin stage 3.
You know what I like about this, though? Keffer sitting here saving fuel the way that he is. and he coasted. Him and Bear both coasted to the line last stage. They didn't go a lap down. They didn't have to worry about it because they stayed out. They just coasted and didn't get lapped. So, and the game won't let you get lapped once the leader takes the green and white check.
I think it's going to be a far stretch this time, guys, to go the whole 47 laps.
Yeah. Oh, Keffer is out of fuel.
The one car has not. And he's coming across the stripe. He's still well under power, and he is offline. He's running out of fuel as he gets to the stripe.
Keffer's around.
DWH gets the stage to win.
Wow.
Couple of cars, JRM Keffer around, sitting on the entrance. He's going to lose a ton of positions. He might not even make it.
He gets picked up.
I think he will stay on the lead lap.
He might be able to stay on the lead lap, and it looks like the computer has now called the caution. So caution has fallen on the speedway, but JRM Keffer did not get those incredible stage points needed to get back. Now the true running order has been shuffled, and I do not know who's going to be considered a lap down and who is not.
I'll tell you what goes on right here. Keffer ended up in 11th.
I'm thinking at 95 and at 22, I think those guys right there, I think that's going to be our lead guys.
Well, no, keep in mind, DWH, he did not pit, so he would be in front.
Correct, yes.
Job's Voltage, Galen, Mike RPM, and Fluffy. Fluffy is 2 laps down.
Wow. It
Mike
has not
RPM,
been his night.
Galen, Voltage, and Job's are all a lap down. Everyone's pitting, obviously. I'm trying to get I would say, DWH, J Hyper, Max Boost, Bear. He's still too fast, but you got a lot of guys up there in the top 5. Max Boost, DWH with the lead. Winning the stage, I don't know how.
Looks like he got the lucky dog, so championship leader will be able to restart in the back of the pack, but on the lead lap. The third and final stage is underway. Diesel doesn't get going in that outside lane, and it takes it up.
Hyper pushed the 48 wall.
Hyper clean took that lead. Watch out now.
And he'll ride the wall. 48 cars in the wall. Contact 3 wide. They split him down the backstretch.
80 wide.
We got a battle for the lead, guys. They're side by side. If one backs out of it.
Whoa, 43 back in front of traffic. Hard hit. Turn number 4. Looking at the flag stand, Tower has not called caution.
They've really got to fix that, guys.
Yeah, I've noticed in the third stage, the caution is hard to get it brought out.
Fluffy is back on pit road, and he might have been forced down pit road, and this is going to put him now 3 laps down.
If not 4. I mean, he's had such a rough night. That's unfortunate for him, knowing that he dominated the first stage.
Yeah, he definitely brought a piece to the racetrack tonight. I hate to see that out of 17 kids, man. You know he did.
Diesel,
no,
and it looks like we're going to have a manual yellow here.
Yes.
A manual yellow is going to save, and we are riding along with the 48 car, who might not be too happy with the 14. In fact, he might be showing some of his displeasure. Yes, he rides the 14 car into the wall.
I don't
Max
blame
Boost
him
not
bit.
happy at all with J Hyper and that move to get to the front.
Yeah, that was it.
Pit road is open here.
He just went a little hot in the corner and just put him straight in the wall. I mean, he could have backed out of it a little bit.
And J Hyper did not get down pit road.
Wow. He got down, but he lost a ton of positions doing it.
Yes, he did.
And this is a messy
calm down a little
manual
bit.
caution.
Get the race back up under.
I tell you what, third stage, these guys, there's still a lot of racing left. Don't get me wrong. But
hey, does this got a short track feel to you guys?
Absolutely.
Tempers have definitely boiled.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see a couple more cautions. I believe. I don't think we'll see a bunch. But we'll see a couple, I believe.
Well, if he gets his lap back.
Oh, at least get one lap back. He might have been forced down pit road there during that altercation that began with the 43. He was way low on the racetrack on that restart there, and there's just no grip. See some significant damage being made. 43 car was the first car I saw sideways that began that melee and jammed up a good couple of cars.
We'll have DW on the point. Outside of him is going to be the Bear coming to the green flag, followed by C. Workman and 22 car once again. Stuck his head back up in the top 5. Y'all going to have to watch out for that diesel 22 tonight.
Now, I was going to mention at the beginning of that run there that we had 3 cars that had struggled all night. The 48, 14, and the 1 all in the top 3. And then next thing you know, there they are in the top 3. And then we're going to do one more lap around here.
It does. In fact, Slade is going down pit road, and I don't know exactly why. I think he's on the lead lap, but this tells me that they'll probably have to do another lap. So Slade with a miscue there.
I think Slade stopped to get some chocolate milk and some ice cream.
The juice box, yeah.
Juice box.
Yeah, we're on lap 107 of 184, so we still got a long way to go.
So let's recap for you guys. We've had varying strategies throughout the place. Up front, we did see Fluffy have an early lead before that first manual caution totally turned this race on its heels as far as strategy. Those guys that were up front
guys coming down pit road right now, guys,
are now deep in this field. Let's take a look. You're right. These guys might be.
Down there.
These guys might be a lap down, or they're going back down. I'm not quite sure why.
I'm not sure what's going on here exactly. They are all on a chat together. They know what's going on. They're communicating. So it's definitely organized. It's just a little bit of confusion here. And hopefully it doesn't confuse it, you know, what position they're supposed to line up when we do finally go green.
I don't think that matters.
I tell you what. We know that Bear, he doesn't start off strong on these runs, but he's definitely got a hot rod on the long run. So on this restart, we'll see. DWH, he was my sleeper pick, and as many issues as he had in the first stage, to see him back out front is good. But that 22, he's just sitting back there in 4th. We seen him run out front. C. Workman has been out front.
It looks like we're going to get the green flag here.
All right, that's
damn, that was crazy. Half the field was
barely got caught back up, but DWH in 95, side by side. Ooh, got a car right in the row. That was voltage. DWH not giving up, and the Bear still fighting hard. They're side by side for the lead out of turn 4. DWH.
That 22 car is not trying to get stuck behind nobody. He's trying to stay hot on the heels of that 95 car.
Ooh, a little bit of a bump. Titans gave a nudge to the 14 car.
We'll finally get back single file here.
Oh, the drink. Somebody got loose in the back. I don't know who that was.
That was Sloppy Joe. Again, he has had a terrible night as well. Celtics also.
Some of these guys that are making names for themselves, though, inside the top 5, including DWH. See the 3, a C. Workman, having a great job. 22, a Diesel. He's been running top 5 all night. And the 21, a Slade, has rebounded nicely inside the top 5.
That one car showed times this season where he has had plenty of speed and has had a couple times up front. Just hadn't been able to put it completely together. Maybe tonight's his night here at Dawn.
I surely do hope the best for him here. And I will say, if I'm Bear, I'm being patient with him. Knowing that if you want to make a pass on somebody, you want to do it on a straightaway. Get underneath somebody there and then pass into the corner, because you don't want to be side by side. Knowing that Bear has a really good long run car like I had just mentioned, I think he's going to make a move trying to get a run down the straightaway to get underneath them and not have to worry about dealing with being side by side with somebody on exit.
95 side of the bear. He's definitely one of those guys that knows the inside and out of these race cars.
He's taking a look.
There he goes. He's doing exactly what I said. And that's the only way to do it here. Oh, he does.
Oh, crossover movement, a little bit of contact. Sends the 95 car back into the outside wall. Here comes C. Workman trying to take advantage of that. DWH, it looked like he actually let the 95 car go before. They were sideways, and the crossover move didn't work out in the 95's favor. He'll go back to third after what was a great move to get to the front.
Yeah, C. Workman.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. See how patient that 3 was going to be sitting back in a second. After
We know he has a car to run out front.
I think these cars like fresh air, to be honest with you. Every car that's actually got to go out front that hadn't even mishap with the outside wall there has actually been able to put a little bit of separation on. So, if it follows tradition here.
All manufacturers represented well inside the top 5. A couple of bow ties up front, Toyota, and then the Ford, a diesel, inside the top 4.
C. Workman's another one of them guys. He's also really good at these, unique shaped tracks. He's also really good at road courses. Where's Max Boost sitting?
He was one of those guys that pitted again. He pitted twice under that, our only 4th manual caution right there. So he restarted well in the back. 22 diesel. Out of shape.
It's just such a hard track. There's just no other way to put it. I mean, custom, default, it doesn't matter. This track is tough.
I can't think of one driver out there tonight that was looking forward to
I tell you one driver who would have, and I mentioned earlier, Pat's Ace. He's one guy that he beats the cheeks off this track every time he's here.
Beats the cheeks right up off of
He
guys, we talk about people that we expected to run up front, including the 17 of Fluffy, perhaps 19 of Voltage, some of those big names here that are just not having a good day so far. Jobs, the 24-car championship leader, also has not cracked the top 5 at all. But 2 guys that have proven themselves here with a stage win, and for each have been the 1 and the 3. DWH stage 2 winner, the 3 was your stage 1 winner, and they're running 1-2.
And that's odd. He is. He's probably one of the most patient people we've ever raced with. And we were in chats with him throughout the week as he was testing. I know he qualified mid-pack. He got caught up in a couple messes there in the first stage. But to rebound and be in the lead right now is unbelievable.
Riding along with some of these guys that are in the back of the pack. Sloppy Joe riding the wall.
Here. C. Workman's taken over first place easily down the front straightaway.
I believe Fluffy is still a lap down. It has been a hardship day for the Rouse Spinway driver.
It's definitely going to shake up points.
He goes back to a good spot on field. I know he's still a lap down, but he is going to be the first car to lead lap down. So he will be the lucky dog that we have another caution tonight. His race isn't over yet.
He's going to need that break, though, and he'll still have to, once he gets that break, he'll have to restart at the back of the pack. But that's a chance, and if history is to repeat itself, you don't want to give that 17 car a chance.
No, you want to keep him right down. Might as well kick him right down. Because he's got the upper hand, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to outrun him.
Yep.
All right, so back up front, C. Workman able to get around DWH in that 1 car. Front 4 have separated themselves a good distance in front of Slade, who rides along in the 5th position. Keep in mind the 17 car still 1 lap down. Behind him and just outside the top 5 is Titans, having a good day for what would be, I believe, just his 2nd start for MBN. And he'll take actually the position and be inside the top 5 there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's going to be a it's going to be a good points day for that 9 camp, I believe. If he can finish right now, I think that's the first top 10, the first top 5 of that 9 car has been in all year. So good to see that 9 up front.
What about his teammate there, Max Boost? So promised earlier in this race. Now just inside the top 10, but barely hanging on, and with some significant ground to make up. There was contact between him and the 14 of Jay Hyper. You saw the displeasure. We were live and on board when the 48 car decided to show its displeasure with the 14.
Well, the 48's already showed that he's definitely got the long run car. His setup, he's able to last a lot longer than some of these guys. Really didn't get to stretch the fuel as much, but the handling on his car really didn't get too sketchy. So it's all depends on how this thing shakes out, how strategy works here at the end. Ain't no telling him. It's up for anybody right now, I do believe.
Just in front of him is BC Racer Kid, the champ, having a whole hum day himself, and Jay Hyper, who had earlier issues, as already documented.
BC Racer, the first Midnight Broadcasting Network's winner at Daytona last season.
And the first champion from, trouble on the front stretch. The 19 of Voltage, and Jay Hyper in front of BC Racer Kid. Plowed hard into the outside wall.
Is that going to bring out a yellow? I'd hate to think
Fluffy is involved. And this should trigger the yellow flag.
Fluffy's still up front.
Or, I'm sorry, that's Celtics fan. That did not.
They didn't talk over their paint schemes tonight. Those two anyway.
Very similar. Both of those are Darrell Waltrip tributes, I believe.
Yes, sir, it is. That's his diehard paint scheme from back in the 90s.
And he drove the 17, not the 11. Actually, I think.
Yeah, but Hamlin did. He paid tribute to Darrell Waltrip's final season with that paint scheme. So that's why. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., yeah.
Back in the day.
Whatever happened, though, Celtics fan is still sitting in the exit of pit road. He gets going. That did not trigger the yellow flag. I don't know who else was involved in that. I believe that was the 9. And that's not going to trigger a yellow flag as well.
Or a manual. I'm quite shocked that they didn't bring out a manual for that. I know they don't want to do that. They only do that.
We got everybody.
It is. Yep, manual caution.
We got Fluffy going off the pit road.
Manual caution.
And he's getting his lap back.
That's something a lot of them guys in the front of the pack, they don't want to see. They don't want to see that 17 on the lead lap, knowing what type of race car got up under him. This is going to be one hell of a finish to watch that 17 car come through the pack like this.
Yeah, we're going to see everybody coming to pit road, I believe. But I will say, during that stint of green flag laps, that 3 car, when he was out front, looked really good. It would be hard to pick against him at this point in the race.
Fresh air king, for sure.
And we're getting to the point where you need to start having track position, because making your way up to the front, you don't want to be a victim of, 1, somebody else's mistake, but 2, you don't want to run out of time, like perhaps what we're going to see with the 17 car. It could be too little, too late.
Yeah, and that goes back when I was sitting here thinking, looking back on it. That first stage, when Fluffy was out front and he was checking out, there was about 5 cars behind him, all hooked up in the draft, and they could do nothing with him. So what Will says, fresh air is king. There's nothing better than that at this track, and it's really shown at this point.
Which he's not going to have. Fluffy's not going to have fresh air. He's going to have about, I think, 16 to 18 cars to come through, as he's going to have to start on the tail end of the lead lap, or the furthest line or whatnot.
I know Kepler's back there. Hopefully he'll switch through his screens. We can see at least the 5 cars that are around him. I'm sitting here watching his stream, and damn, he looks cute today.
Here comes the 17 car, Fluffy. He'll make his way down pit road. He is allowed a pit stop there, as he benefits from being the first car 1 lap down. Leader going to be the 3C Workman. See the
How much
field
room do you think?
outside as Fluffy will go to the attention of his crew. We do have one DNF on screen, and that is the 13 of Galen.
How patient is that 95 car going to be sitting back there in third?
And how many laps do we have to go here?
We're going to be, when we go green flag, we're on lap 131 of 184. So we still got a long way to go. I'm telling you guys, this is a long race. Too long, but we're gonna grind through this.
Alex's voice is gonna last that long.
We're gonna try,
but we'll see. We had a good battle for the lead on that last restart between the 3 and the 1 here.
Gave each other room, kept it clean between them.
They did, and obviously inside at this track is preferred. You can get such a run going into 1 that you can, drive it up top in front of that car. Looks like we're going to go another lap unless we go up to start finish.
Well, you've got a bunch of cars up front right now that's actually
we are going one more.
Showed a little bit of muscle out here tonight already. So I think the top 5, any one of these guys, top 6, got played. Any one of those guys could actually win.
Yeah, so I'll tell you now, from what I'm seeing, BC Racers 10th, Titans is 11th, Keffer's 12th, Mike RPM 13th, and Fluffy. As long as Keffer's on the lead lap, Fluffy is 14th, so.
Yep, and we do know that Fluffy is back on the lead lap. All right, guys, so we're going to restart here with just a little over 50 laps remaining. Can the 17 car make its way to the front? Can the 3 and the 1 mount a charge that denies him? And a green flag pit stop still in the mix. The manual caution is over. The green flag is back out.
Wow, Bear and Steve Workman.
Hell of a start.
Gone.
48 jumped down on the inside of the 1 car. He backs it up. Clean into turn 1. We don't have anybody.
Single file formation, the front field goes as C. Workman gets away with the 95 car Bear. They've been able to get around DWH. Back up in the 4th position is the 48 car. Max Boost has been able to rebound there after that earlier issue with Jay Hyper. And the 21 is Slade. He's just been stuck around the 4th and 5th position. Hasn't been able to crack that top 3.
That 95 is trying to give that 3 car. He's trying to shove him in there. Yeah, he sure is. He can get him a little shot, get him a little sideways, get him up that track. He's going to try to pass him down low. He's just going to have to watch when that 3 car bounces off that wall, who he collects and who he don't.
Yeah. On board with the 48 car.
Oh, the 3 car is loose.
He has a preferred line, though, heading into turn 1. He could save himself. He does.
That screwed up Bear, and DWH is going to overtake 2nd place unless Bear gets a hell of a runoff, too, here, which he does. And 3 cars in the wall.
There might have been a sign of respect right there because the 1 car in the 95, they did make contact earlier. Didn't want a repeat of that. And C. Workman got away with 1. Can he do so again?
Well, he's back to his bumper. We're going to see. He needs to be protecting that bottom. He's going to give him a shot. Probably multiple times. See, Workman's a smart racer as far as he needs to protect the bottom, knowing that the Bear is going to probably try to go there and get underneath him. If anything, he's going to get a little shove.
Oh, but he got the wall, and he's going to get out of the groove of the racing from other competitors, but he'll lose 2nd and 3rd. He'll fall back to 4th and slide back in line just in front of the 21 car.
And
we were on board, or we were riding along.
Workman's in the wall. Workman's going to fall back to 3rd. If not 4th.
DWH takes the lead.
The new leader.
Wow. And all of this has allowed the entire field practically nose to tail, 1st through 12th. Max Boost to the inside. 48 Max car to the lead. Things are getting dicey up front.
Blows my mind knowing that we were talking about all these guys that started the first stage with just bad luck, terrible cars, etc. And here we are talking about some of these guys right now at this point in the race, potentially winning it.
I'm going to be honest with you. Coming down the stretch at the end of the race, you definitely, 95 cars, one of those cars you don't want to see behind you.
No, absolutely not.
And a lot of these guys are just skimming the wall. The loss of momentum is real in NASCAR Heat 4. And it costs you several tenths of a second at a sport where that means everything.
And Max Booth, I wouldn't consider him checked out. I wouldn't say he's checked out.
Some major blocking going on. The 95 car and the 3 trying to dispute the same piece of racetrack right there. Right now it's in favor of the 95.
I'm not sure I can. Oh, the 24 just died on the inside wall.
Jobs, the championship leader, around on the backstretch.
Last week's winner. First time winner in the season.
Major front end damage to the 24 as well. He rides along in practically last place.
He's just hoping this thing ends. He's ready to leave golf in South Carolina.
And I tell you another thing, man. He definitely is the only reason he's sticking in this race is because he doesn't. Well, two things. Don't ever give up on the race, especially if you're on the lead lap, because you never know what's going to happen. But also, as the points leader, you never know what's going to happen to your competitors in front of you if a caution doesn't come out. So,
we got a crash on the front stretch.
Uh-oh.
That is Celtics fan again. It going in the right direction, and it looks like it's just a single car incident.
Yeah, he's had early issues with this setup. He may have missed it a little bit. A lot of times though, you're fighting on the edge. There's a difference between speed and actual good handling cars on old tires. And some of these guys, it's just so competitive that sometimes you may ignore the long run end of it and how hectic it can get when you're only by yourself. You may be able to save it in practice. But when you got other cars around you and you can't pick your line per se every single lap, that thing should get out from under you really, really quick.
Wow, as we have a challenge for the lead right back. 95 car looking underneath the 48. Bear to the point. And I don't want to alarm anyone just yet, but that jaw theme here, that's Fluffy moving ever so closely to the front.
But no, yeah, definitely.
Workman gets to the inside of the 48 car. Great move to get second away, and looks like the 48 car now starting to fall back. Can he minimize the bleeding? He does so. He'll get in front of the 1 of DWH.
It looks like Mike RPN is either on pit. Mike RPN is on pit road, or he's coming off pit road now. He must have gotten some significant damage. He's just trying to salvage whatever points he can get at this point.
Bear! The 3! Contact in the 48 car! 3 wide as they go across the stripe. DWH to the inside. He'll take the lead from 4th to 1st and 1 straightaway here at Darlington. Wow!
That was a hell of a job by them guys saving that thing right there.
43's around on the back stretch.
He literally just came off pit road, and like Will mentioned, coming off pit road, it's treacherous. He took the blunt of it right there. He's had a terrible night, man. Mike RPM's just had a bad night.
Bad to worse.
Yep. And he's probably going to have to go back down pit road again, I would imagine, because he went nose first right in the inside wall. I hate to see it.
They're getting racing, though, guys. I'm loving this.
They're all right here. Most of them right here.
Still more than 40 laps to go, but these guys are racing like it's the last lap. And I wish I had a replay.
40 to go right here.
I wish I had a replay to show you the move the 1 car did from turn 4 to turn 1. He was 4th on the exit of turn 4. He was 1st on the entrance to turn 1.
Yes, he was.
This is a hard track to be super upset with somebody when something happens, man, because this track does not forgive you. literally does not give a damn about you whatsoever. Don't matter where you're running on the track. It will throw you in every which direction. It's all throttle control.
Celtics fans has retired, by the way.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
All right, guys, so let's take a look. Well, things have settled up front. Ooh, the 8 car, Sloppy Joe, rides the wall. More contact. Voltage hits the wall because of it.
And that's terrible.
And that has allowed the 22 and the 17 to break free. And Fluffy, ooh, who was that out of shape on the backstretch? Jobs is on pit road.
Right,
and that was the 8 of Sloppy Joe.
Keffer's around.
We may not see a green. Oh, 48 a little crooked coming off. Looks like he got a little bit of help out of 3.
Keffer is around on the backstretch. He gets it going in the right direction.
Big damage. I tell you what, DWH is making Bear work for this league.
Yeah, and they're trying to.
Jobs falls a lap down as well as the 43 again. And back up front, you're right.
Back to third.
Oh, but he hit the wall.
Bear is the leader.
Well, we seen Bear get the lead earlier about 12 laps ago, and he broke loose and got a little sideways, got the wall, and DW come back from fourth to the lead. So
things are getting nasty up front.
Yes, they are.
We are on worn tires now, so.
Oh, DWH is going to skim the wall again. Oh, he's back into it.
Gets into the wall.
He saved it, but DWH now, that's going to be a little bit harder to overcome. Who was that?
Fluffy in the inside wall. Caution is
out. This is an in-game caution.
That is crazy.
How that changes up, baby.
All right, so the only person that's going to get back on the lead lap here is DK Brown. He's the only one a lap down. Jobs is 2 laps down. Mike RPM 4 laps down. From what I can see, Titans is 7th, BC Racer 8th, Fluffy, Voltage, Sloppy, Keffer in 12th.
What about that 41 car, guys?
You never can count out Slade. That is for sure. You don't.
To be honest with you, I thought that 19 car was coming until he got knocked into the outside wall trying to get around one back about 7 laps ago.
This is our.
Getting quietly riding in the top 5 all night.
This is our 6th caution, and DK Brown will start on the lead lap, bringing our total to 14 cars on the lead lap. Up front, Bear in the 48 car, max boost. How many laps to go as we get back underway here at Darlington?
This is going to put us at a lap. We got 29 to go.
I believe this is well within their fuel window. Ooh, Slade.
Hard in the outside wall.
You thought intensity was rising before. All I'm saying is somebody needs to get next to that 95 car if anybody wants a chance, because if they don't, that 95 is going to check out. The 48 max boost, like we had mentioned earlier, really good at these tracks. He's on his bumper right now. He might, well, he got C. Workman. There's so many guys that have shown strong points throughout the race. Just have not been able to capitalize. Oh, we got a humongous wreck in the middle of 3 and 4.
It's going to come back to who makes the least mistakes.
Jay
Yellow
Harper,
flag.
Jobs.
7th one of the night.
Back half of the field. Just like back half of the field.
Man, I tell you what.
Looks like a 6-car jam up in the back of the pack. 19 of Voltage. With damage, Jobs, our championship leader. Woo! This will be a night he wants to forget after celebrating 1 week ago.
Earlier, I was going to mention that there might be 5 cars on the lead lap after this race. At this point, when you get that late race caution, and a lot of times at this point in the race, cautions breed cautions, there might be, we got a ton of cars on the lead lap now, but everybody that hasn't either lagged out or quit could be on the lead lap at the end of this race. It could be a shootout to the end.
Green flag is out. 48 car missed the shift. 21 of Slade went to the inside, but you can't advance your position before you get to the start-finish line. Advantage C. Workman to the outside. Where did Bear end up? He was the leader. Strategy might have placed the 95 car back in the wall. One car hitting the wall out of turn 2. They jam up behind them.
Bear back to fourth.
One car still riding the wall in turn 3 and 4. See Workman getting around, and Slade now under pressure from the 95 who took a look to the inside. Thinks better of it.
I keep seeing that yellow and red car, Diesel, just sitting back there. Don't count him out. Caution again.
Manual caution, the 8th one. Or is
No,
this an
this is
in-game?
in-game.
This is an in-game caution. So the laps are dwindling down here, and I want to go back to that restart. I don't know what brought out the yellow flag here for the 8th time tonight, but it was the 48 car who did not get going that allowed the 3 car the advantage, and he took the lead into turn 1.
I'm not even sure what
Like
the hell
that.
happened.
It was a hell of a move by the 95 car, because when the one car got stacked up on the inside, he just tried to ride the wall and keep it in there, but the 95 was able to go through a little teeny tiny tunnel and actually get up towards the fellow driving by the 95 right there.
And a good job on the 21's part as well. He recognized that the 48 car had a problem, moved to the outside, but limited by NASCAR. Again, you cannot advance your position. We have a shakeup up front.
Guess who our leader is? Or never mind.
See Workman 95, couple of cars. The 48 car looks like he decided to go down pit road. Inside of the top 5 for the first time today is the 24 of Jobs. Where has he been all night?
Oh, the 3.
Oh, contact around, big crash. Half the
gotta
field
hate it.
annihilated out of turn 2.
Damn.
I
Terrible
kind
for
of can
Max
see.
Boost in the 95 car.
Well, that was Bear, and I seen exactly what happened right there. They were going through. The 3 car tried to keep it low. They kind of met in the middle. C. Workman, Bear. On my screen, it looked like they kind of met in the middle. Put Bear on the outside wall, which happened to be a terrible point because they were coming off 2. Shot him back down on the track and literally killed everybody.
Well, look who's leading this thing here.
Man, weren't we just
really
talking about
far.
the 24 car? You cannot give up. He was outside of the top 10. He's been outside of the top 10 all night. Now look where
We were
he's
talking
running.
about cautions, putting people back on the lead lap. Here we are.
And it's a cliche, but cautions breed cautions.
Yep. As another league that I commentate for occasionally,
What?
we say
This
it's
does.
the commentator's jinx.
Yeah,
Workman and
car
Diesel,
got
the outside lane, has a pulse hitter. Voltage gets underneath, and the 24 Jobs in the 3rd position. Green flag back out. See Workman trying to get away
15
with less
laps
than
to go.
20 to go here.
15 to
Really,
go.
15 to go. Sorry, I
Sorry.
was committed to saying 20 when you said that. I said less than 20, so I was good.
Yeah, you were right.
Diesel underneath.
car drives for.
Here
I
comes
don't even
Jobs.
know what happened to the 3 car, but that 22 dove down in there and didn't touch nothing. He didn't touch nothing but the damn gas pedal.
Jobs
Good
is
pass
fighting
on the
for
22.
second underneath C. Workman.
Oh man, they're jockeying out. They're
You
not
think he
even
didn't
trying to
take
get spread
tires?
out.
Whoa!
Oh! Hard in the inside wall. We got the whole back of the pack gone.
Is that trigger the yellow?
Titans.
Yes, it does. 10th time of the night.
Wow. And this is what I don't like to see. These guys, I understand. We're sitting here, playoff racing. You gotta
Not yet.
still. Well, I mean, you're still talking playoff implications as far as getting a win. You might be in. I've seen the point standing and stuff, and these guys don't. It don't matter if it's the first, last race of the season. This is what happens. You get in the 3rd stage. The intensity level, the aggression levels go up, and sometimes certain people just race differently. They think that 3 wide at Darlington could work. but then you ruin everybody else's race.
Too wide at Darlington barely works.
Exactly.
So we restart here with just over 10 laps. I believe we'll have 12 to go. Diesel on the inside of Workman.
Everybody that's left in the race is on the lead lap.
That is crazy. Still anyone's race.
24 car ain't gonna let the 3. He's gonna come
10 to
through.
go.
He'll let the 3 get down.
We got 10 to go. We'll be
Oh,
going.
they're really mixing it up in the back of the pack.
Yeah,
Intensity
they are.
factor picking up.
I think they're closing their eyes and sending it. Oh, we got one around.
We
in
do.
the back. It's like
2
DK
cars.
Brown.
JRM Keffer and DK Brown in the back of the pack.
Wow. Yeah. DK
No
was
yellow
already
flag.
around and Kepper got connected.
Diesel
We're coming to
out
8 to
front.
go.
See Workman with a wild ride. Here comes Jobs trying to take advantage. Side by side. Voltage in the mix. Jobs is up to second. I will eat my hat if this 24 car finishes inside the top 3.
We'll eat your hat.
He has not been there the entire night. Does not tell you what form this man is as far as a threat for the championship.
He's in championship form. He has been all year. He's got about 8 second place finishes. Finally got
We got another. Oh, we got a bunch of cars all over the place right now back there.
Oh, Slade riding the wall in turn 4. Diesel with the best view in the house. 7 laps to go.
I'm surprised the caution hadn't come out, but we're starting to see that clean air work, and I don't even think we're seeing that work right now. We're seeing people fighting for second place.
Oh, the 24 and the 3 get into each other.
That looked to be big. Job's going to lose a little bit out of that.
Peek up that hat out.
See Workman now. Into the wall.
Oh!
Oh, and contact.
We're so
Jobs!
hard in the inside wall.
Multiple cars in the inside wall.
Caution is out.
11th of the night.
Wow.
Here we go, guys. Who's going to be the first guy to take 4? Who's going to be the guy stuck out there? What does Diesel do? This comes down to a very important pit stop right here. We're going to have 3 to go, I believe.
I do believe very important.
This will fall just outside of a green light checkered. I think these guys.
Yeah, we're going to be at 3 to go. I believe. I'll let you guys know as soon as we. That's crazy, man. This has been a wild race, fun to commentate all around. The bounce backs from a lot of these guys.
We're about to see one hell of a finish. If my eyes hadn't deceived me as of yet, we're going to see one hell of a throwdown here at the end.
Yeah, whoever's in first place, I don't know about that, man. I honestly believe that
95 cars out on the outside. Let's see how much room we give.
The 95 is a
3 laps to go. He got a good start. He's going to clear the 22 car. 22 going to force the issue. Bear to the point. How many laps to go do we still have? Oh, Diesel rides the wall. See Workman and Fluffy go around the back of the pack.
Wow.
Yellow flag is out, and this will take us to a green-white checkered.
I
see Workman, who had such one heck of a night. Things going awry in the 3 camp.
You hate to see it.
Someone was not coming out of turn 2 without damaging the race car.
Those chats are going to be lit up like damn 4th of July, I guarantee it.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's hard to be upset with somebody
but they
at
are.
this track. But yeah, we both know that is definitely a thing.
And you really feel bad for the 3 car. He had such a good night. We don't have the benefit of a replay to show you exactly what happened there, but he and the 17 car connected. It didn't end well for either of them. Bear, the 22, the 8, a Sloppy Joe, and Workman actually gets away with it. Green flag, 2 laps to settle it.
Yeah, he definitely does. But I tell you who's going to get him in 3 and 4. Is your pick at 22.
so.
A little bit of daylight seen in front of the 22.95. He looked like he scraped the wall. Sloppy Joe out of shape. They'll face the white flag
There comes the
this
22.
time by. Does the yellow flag come out? Next flag ends the race. 1 to go here at Darlington.
No, caution is out.
Whoa. Did we get the caution before they got to the white flag?
We got the caution.
Caution fail.
Wow.
He was probably 20 foot from the stripe as that caution come out.
Lucky number 13 of the night.
Whoa.
I think we're going to get on up into 15. What do you think?
I think we're going to see 20.
I don't think they're over yet, guys. Look at the 19 up in third.
I literally
19
seen
in third, the
about
48
15
car.
cars hit the walls, the inside or the outside on that restart. That first lap, everybody hit the wall except for like the first 2 cars.
Well, we already seen that the 95, as long as he don't miss any gears, he's definitely got that hot rod on the green flag. See if that 22 is going to be admirable, or he's going to stick it down in there and see if he can slide that 95 up and take that position.
First attempt at
they got the 90.
Our second attempt at a green-white checkered. Everyone fighting for a position. To the inside.
We'll see how wide he can make that 95 car.
No, I think the 95 car, yeah, it's going to be wide.
Car on the wall behind him.
Oh,
Cars wrecking on the backstretch.
Go again.
Yellow flag out again.
Out. Keffer, one of them cars involved. C. Workman, another one involved there. Titans, another one involved. And J. Hyper.
That 9 car and that 14 car has been in a lot of incidents here coming to the late.
It has become the Southern 500 of attrition. Can these guys make it to the white flag in order to end this very long night for the MBN network?
I want to see a checkered flag without a yellow flag. You know what I mean? I want to. That's what I want to see. We'll see if it happens. I don't know how many takes we're going to have at this, but nobody is willing to give up their position and just settle for.
I think they only give you 3, and then they call it on the last one. I think this is our 3rd, right? Correct?
Yep.
3rd?
This is our 3rd attempt at a green-white checkered, but I have seen it extend up to 6. So. Green flag, the 48 car doesn't get going again. The scramble to get to the inside line once again prevails. Here comes the 95 car in front of the 22.
Got 5 for the first time tonight.
That car should not be running in the 4th position, but yet here we are. They make it through the trouble spot, which has been turn 2.
Nope.
Here we go.
22 at Diesel. They'll face the white flag. The next flag ends the race. Whether it be the checkered.
Big crash.
They did get to the start-finish line.
Caution.
Diesel out of shape.
22 car on this.
No,
They're still green.
43.
Bear makes a mistake out of turn 2. Here comes Mike RPM. 3 wide. Threading the needle. Into the wall. Here comes Mike RPM. From the back of the pack, all the way to first, side by side. Who gets there? Bear and Mike RPM. I have no idea who won that.
Wow! I believe Bear won, but oh man, Mike RPM died. That was Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven all over again.
One heck of a finish.
Woo!
What the hell just happened?
I tell you what, Bear got first, Mike RPM second, and Dito Yates third. Wow. Woo!
Them damn gears saved Bear on that one.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Hell of a finish.
You ain't kidding, brother.
Where did the 43 car come from?
He came the hell out of nowhere, and he made his presence known there in that last half lap.
What a race.
The 95 got so loose off 2, and 3 wide going into 3. Really?
They threaded the needle.
Earlier.
I have never seen that before.
It didn't work, but one car got
So DW, Mike RPM, and the Bear, correct?
Yes. Wow. What a race. That was fun.
Well, the actual last race in Charlotte that I commentated, the Bear actually won that one.
Yeah. Fluffy with the heater of the race with a 29.5.
And as you mentioned there, T, why you never give up. The 43 car was at 1.4 laps down. 4 laps down. Had a chance to win tonight.
That's wild.
And one of the craziest finishes since 2003 between Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. Bear outlasts the 43 car on Mike RPM. Bear, walk us through that last lap and how you were able to get the victory after that mistake out of turn 2.
I don't even know. He's still trying to wrap his head around this.
Well, let's back up. All right, let's back up. 3 restarts ago. I get going to turn 1 on the outside of C. Workman, and he puts me in the fence, crashes me. I'm all the way back to 16th, thinking my race is over. Catch a couple good breaks. Car comes to. I drive back up to the field, take the lead. We get that last restart there, and I'm thinking to myself, just give me the white flag. Just please give me the white flag. That's all I want. And, man, I tell you, we got the white flag, and I was looking in my mirror, and I saw everybody bunch up. And I was like, man, all we got to do is make it off of turn 2. And it did what the typical Darlington does. It got one more bite out of me. And we sent it down into turn 3, man, side by side, door handle to door handle, and I didn't lift. And he didn't lift either. And we hooked together all the way to the start-finish line. It was amazing.
You guys were 3 wide going into turn 3. I don't know if you knew that being on the bottom side, but you guys were 3 wide going into turn 3.
Walk us through the later parts of that race there,
I didn't
Bear.
really see it.
You walk us through the later parts of that race. It looked like calamity late in that race, but there were a lot of varying strategies to get to that point. A lot of people found themselves lapped down early and had a hard enough time trying to get back up. How important was track position versus being on top of your pit strategy?
Well, I tell you, patience and a good handling car, and patience and a good handling car won this race today. There was a couple times where I'd fall back through. I missed a couple wrecks early. I mean, kept the car clean. I mean, the ability to maneuver around people when they have issues without messing yourself up. That's what got us up there today. And I tell you, paid off in victory. Wasn't but about an inch.
Yeah, you did a hell of a job. And I tell you what, when I seen you get loose off too, and watch some other cars that didn't, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. And I tell you what, we knew, we were talking the entire time, you had a strong car, especially on the long run. It seemed like you had a good car. There wasn't one person who, that was where you beat everybody, was on restart gears. We had mentioned that. Will had mentioned that a couple times. Diesel, even if you were starting second, you were able to get past whoever it was inside of you before you even got to turn 1. That helped you out a ton. But I tell you what, you drove a hell of a race, man, and that was awesome.
Well, I felt like last week I kind of made a fool out of myself at Phoenix. Crashed twice while leading the race and ended up finishing 6th. I mean, I actually finished 18th, but I felt like I needed to come out here and kind of restate my claim and gain some more of that momentum I lost heading into the playoffs here.
All right, so great win here tonight in a race that really does rival what we saw back in 2003 between Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven there. Congratulations there, Bear, on your win. Want to bring in now the 43 car who, hold on just a sec. I'm looking through all my notes here. Yeah, I hadn't written anything down because you hadn't been there all night there, Mike. How did you get to second?
To tell you the truth, I have no freaking idea. I was 4 laps down with about 25 to go. And
I had mentioned that. That was wild.
Cautions start coming out, and before you know it, gain a couple spots here, gain a couple spots there, and I was happy with finishing 4th. And then we came off of turn 2 on the white flag, and I saw Bear get down. I saw another car get loose on the top side, and I say, I'm just going to send it in there. And we went 3 wide in turn 3, and I appreciate Bear not running me over, and we just drove hooked up, for about 300 yards to the line, just right up against each other, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was
you
awesome.
win some that way, you lose some that way. You had a great finish there in the All-Star event a couple of weeks ago at Chicagoland, where you and Fluffy came to the line. What is it about you in these dramatic finishes to the front in races where you typically aren't there at the start?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. If I could tell you, maybe I should start just, going a few laps down or something. I feel like that's the best
grinding.
way. But it was just awesome, and I just respected the hell out of Bear for not running me over in that last corner, and we just, we battled it out door to door, and that was awesome. Bear had him and Fluffy had the class of the field there with their cars, and I just got in a certain situation there where we ended up battling for it there, but that was awesome.
You didn't get the win, but you made a statement with this team. What was that as you look for the playoffs, as you look toward the playoffs later this season?
I mean, it's everything. Just, confidence-wise for just coming in for a track. This is my worst track probably on the game, besides probably Martinsville and a few short tracks, but yeah, it's awesome. I just really had a great time. I knew it was going to produce late race cautions and people's tempers were going to get a little wild, and we just ended up being in the right place at the right time. But yeah, I can't wait to watch the broadcast over because you guys probably had a hell of a time in the booth.
Oh,
for sure.
It was definitely wild there once the cautions come out, and I give you hella props for not giving up when you were so far behind as far as laps go. I mean, I remember me and Alex talking at one point. You were 4 laps down, and we were talking. I said early in the stream, I said, if we have a late race caution, we're going to see a lot of these guys that are several laps down. Fluffy was one of them at one point, and he dominated the first half of the first stage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm like, we see a late race caution. I said, what I thought was going to be maybe 5 cars on a lead lap might be the entire field. Sure enough, the entire field was on the lead lap when, except for the guys that backed out. But coming to the white flag,
they should have backed out. They would have had a chance.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, really, they would have had a chance. Anybody had a chance. It was almost like a super speedway race as far as anybody has a chance. Anybody could win these races at these unique tracks. And
yeah, I mean, the way everybody had their car set up, it's just so hard to pass here, and when you get side by side with somebody, you get loose off on exit, and it's just so difficult. I want to apologize to Celtics. I really screwed him there. He got under me, and I got loose, and you can't do anything when you hit that seam out of 4, and it turns left, and you can't do anything. So I feel really bad about that, but yeah, just a crazy race.
Yeah. Hell of a job not giving up and getting that second place, man. That was as a broadcaster, that was fun as hell.
That was great to see.
It was fun.
Some of the best finishes we've had all year long for the second season of PRCS have resulted with this 43 car neck and neck fighting for the win. So congratulations there, Mike RPM. We look forward to seeing your progress later throughout the playoffs. Want to quickly get in our third place winner, DWH. Driving for the Kurt Busch machine in DWH. It was a scramble. It didn't start off for you as well either, spinning in turn number 4 early in stage 1. You were able to rebound there for a stage 2 victory. Walk us through what happened on that last stage that got you third place. Well, that chaos resulted in you getting a podium finish there, but talk about the driving that you saw there and how this team was able to muscle its way back up after there were times where it looked like getting to the point would be an impossible task. There was one move that you made that we saw early in the broadcast. You were fourth coming out of turn 4. You were first coming into turn 1. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'm glad you were doing all that while racing.
Track position was key during that race. That is all there is to that. And when you were out front,
do you feel like this one got away from you as much as you was up front?
yeah, you were just in there to get the best finish that you could and move on to next week. But you did a hell of a job with that. When you were out front, man, there was only a couple cars out there that when they got out front, they were able to take advantage of that clean air, and they were gone. One was Fluffy in the first stage, which I feel terrible for him, but he had a terrible night after that. The other one was Bear, and but it seemed like through the cycle, them last however many cautions we had at the end, Bear, his car really fell off a lot, and you took advantage of that, and you got yourself some points, and I mean, good stuff, my guy.
Great job. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, dear DWH. And another congratulations is in order for the 95 car in a thrilling finish that I unfortunately hope I got, because everything was happening, and it will be great to go back and look at it, because when you have that many race cars on the racetrack, it's hard to cycle through. We were able to get just the tail end. Diesel got put into the wall there, so we weren't able to see exactly coming to the start-finish line. But the Bear, able to nose ahead by, I don't even know if there was an inch. I remember this race, Darlington, back in 2003, and between Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven, and Darrell Waltrip saying, Darrell Waltrip saying it's a good thing that Pontiac had the kick out on the nose at the time, because that was the difference. It might be what won Bear in front of Mike RPM, because Toyota, you see the front end of that car, the clip might have been able, than the more rounded, pointed nose of the Chevy. That could have been the difference between him going to victory lane and him finishing second. But a thrilling finish here, guys.
To my NASCAR.
What did we learn here tonight, and what do we expect to see next week?
Where are we at next week?
You know, that I don't know. That I don't know. But it's going to be exciting. It'll be right here at 7:30, 9:30 Eastern Time. So join us then. You know what? I don't know. So my voice is starting to give out. That was a thrilling finish, but we're going to end it here. From all of us here at the Midnight Broadcast Network, want to give a special thanks to Will and T. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth. And another congratulations to Mike for this second, but Matt, the Benedetto, the Bear, getting the win. I am tired, so I'm going to close it out with that. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you guys next week.